Monday, 7 a.m. You turn off your alarm, cursing everything in existence. Grab a quick coffee and head off to work to spend the best hours of your day there. Now, imagine a world where words like work, deadline, mortgage, and boss simply do not exist. No, this isn't some utopia or a billionaire's private island. This was the everyday reality for our ancestors living tens of thousands of years ago. Have you ever wondered what ancient humans actually did all day? After all, they had no offices, no factories, and not even any gardens to weed. Did they really spend every waking second fighting for survival, shivering in fear inside a dark cave? Spoiler alert, not at all. Modern anthropologists agree that our ancestors had more free time than we could ever dream of. Welcome to an era when life itself was one long vacation. For a long time, we were fed the stereotype that life before civilization was nasty, brutish, and short. We imagined primitive humans waking up and immediately running around frantically chasing mammoths just to avoid starving to death around the corner. But in 1966, anthropologist Marshall Sahlins turned the scientific world upside down at the Man the Hunter Symposium. He coined the famous term, the original Affluent Society. By studying the lives of modern hunter-gatherer tribes, such as the Jew/Hawansi or Kung Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert, researchers calculated exactly how much time they spent securing everything they needed to live. The results were shocking. To find food, set up camp, and fix basic tools, ancient humans only needed about 15 to 20 hours a week, which translates to just 3 to 5 hours a day. They had no concept of working days or weekends. They did things in bursts. They'd spend a couple of hours gathering berries or catching a rabbit, and that was it. The daily goal was met, calories secured, shelter provided. Humans are social creatures. Ancient people spent a massive amount of time just interacting with one another. They sat around the campfire, told stories, cracked jokes, and talked about their tribe mates. In fact, evolutionary psychologist Dr. Robin Dunbar famously introduced the gossip theory, suggesting that human language evolved precisely as a way to gossip and manage complex social networks, effectively replacing the physical grooming seen in other primates. After all, someone had to figure out why the neighbor was acting so strangely yesterday. Socializing strengthened bonds within the tribe, which was the ultimate key to safety. Another major pastime was sleep and afternoon siestas. Sleep was a crucial way to conserve energy. They didn't forget about games either. You might be surprised to learn that adults back then played just as much as children. Historians and evolutionary biologists note that these ranged from physical games that built agility to mental ones involving focus or mimicking animals. Games helped release stress and provided entertainment. It is also worth mentioning that they spent hours simply mastering the art of doing nothing, a state of mind that modern psychologists call mindfulness, but for them was just default existence. What else did people with no jobs do? They created art. The cave paintings we find all over the world weren't just a momentary whim born out of boredom. They were the result of hours of painstaking, meticulous labor. Our ancestors created paints from ochre and charcoal, invented application techniques, sculpted clay figurines, and carved bone. They also dedicated an incredible amount of time to their personal appearance. Making a single necklace like that required hours of monotonous but meditative work. People braided their hair, got tattoos, and practiced scarification to stand out, attract partners, and display their status. And let's not forget music. The oldest musical instruments ever found, such as the famous flutes made from bird bones and mammoth ivory discovered in the Hohe cave in Germany, are over 40,000 years old. Imagine those evenings. A crackling fire, musical instruments, and ritual dances. A veritable festival every single day, with no need to buy tickets. Preparation for their occasional feasts was practically a leisure activity in itself. Because they didn't have refrigeration, food was consumed fresh, and cooking was a massive cooperative social event. Ancient foragers possessed an incredibly diverse diet, eating hundreds of different types of plants, fungi, and animals throughout the year, far more varied than what the average modern supermarket shopper consumes. This culinary freedom meant they spent hours tasting, sharing, and comparing flavors. Eating wasn't a rushed 15-minute lunch break at a desk. It was a celebration of community that lasted well into the evening, where the sharing of food was the ultimate expression of love and mutual respect. Yes, they had plenty of free time, but their level of comfort was absolute zero. If a season of relentless rain or drought hit, the vacation instantly turned into a brutal struggle for survival. Medicine did not exist. A basic broken leg or an infected scratch could be a death sentence. Paleodemographic studies show that infant mortality was incredibly high, and the average life expectancy rarely exceeded 30 to 35 years. Those who survived the dangerous hurdles of childhood could easily live to be 60, as documented by anthropologists studying remaining traditional tribes. They had no property. A hunter-gatherer's entire worldly possessions consisted of what they could carry on their back when moving to a new camp. There were no shoe collections, no libraries, and no cozy couches. Their freedom was built on absolute minimalism. When did it all go wrong? Roughly 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, the Neolithic Revolution took place. Humans invented agriculture. We began growing wheat and domesticated livestock. It seemed like the ultimate stability, right? But the paradox is that this was the exact moment humans enslaved themselves. Wheat demanded around-the-clock care, watering, weeding, and protecting it from pests. Instead of a few hours of casual berry picking, humans started laboring for 12 hours a day in the fields, bent double. Food surpluses emerged, bringing along inequality, taxes, armies, hierarchical states, and that very thing we call a job. Today, we live in a world of unbelievable comfort and advanced technology, but we pay for it with our most precious resource, our time. If your boss piles a mountain of reports on your desk today, just close your eyes for a second and remember your Paleolithic ancestor. He's sitting by the fire, lazily gnawing on a bone, listening to a flute, and has absolutely no idea what depression even means. Maybe we have something to learn from him? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Bye!